Welcome to The Explainer. Now, you probably think you know the story of the Titanic, right? But today, we're diving into a hidden chapter, one you've likely never heard. It's about the one Japanese man who survived, and how that very survival led not to a hero's welcome, but to a lifetime of shame.
It all comes down to a single number: 1. That's how many Japanese men made it off the Titanic alive in 1912. Just 1. And his name was Masabumi Hosono.
You'd think surviving an unimaginable catastrophe would make you a hero, right? A legend even. But for Hosono, it was the exact opposite. His survival was the beginning of his ruin. So how did it all go so terribly wrong?
To really understand Hosono's story, we've got to go back to that fateful, chaotic night in the freezing waters of the North Atlantic.
Okay, so picture it. Absolute pandemonium. The so-called unsinkable ship is going down, and it's going down fast. There were only enough lifeboats for about half the people on board, and a strict, desperate order was given: women and children first.
The numbers are just staggering. In the end, more than 1,500 people died. Just over 700 survived. And yeah, the vast majority of those survivors were women and children. Masabumi Hosono, a man, was one of the very few exceptions.
At first, when the news of his survival reached Japan, the media treated him like a celebrity. He was the lucky one, the man who beat the odds. But that celebration, well, it did not last long at all.
All right, Section 2, Accusation and Outcast. This is the story that condemned a man, because the narrative, it turned against Hosono with shocking speed, all fueled by stories from other survivors that got picked up by the international press.
And this was the story that emerged, the one that ruined him. A fellow survivor, quoted in the British press, claimed Hosono had cheated death dishonorably, that he disguised himself, pushed past other people, and took a spot that belonged to a woman or a child.
Now, you have to understand, in early 20th century Japan, the culture placed this immense value on honor and self-sacrifice. So this accusation, it was absolutely devastating. He wasn't a survivor anymore. He was a national disgrace, a man who had brought deep shame upon his country.
The consequences were swift and they were brutal. The public condemned him. Newspapers and even textbooks branded him a coward. And the final blow came when the Japanese government fired him from his prestigious job at the Ministry of Railways. His fall from grace was complete.
So, faced with total ruin and the hatred of his entire country, Hosono chose silence. He never offered a public defense. He never told his side of the story. For the rest of his life, he just quietly endured the shame. The big question is, why?
Okay, Section 3, a posthumous vindication. Because the truth, or at least his version of it, wouldn't come to light until